Bonjour, bonjour, and welcome to this session. Unfortunately, I think no one was able to come today for the first session. You have plenty of more opportunities to come live. Otherwise, you can join us later and view the recording. Let me introduce myself very briefly. My name is Alexandre Chambure. I'm the founder of Language City, which is an online language school. I'm the former private English teacher of French President Chirac's daughter and grandson. I have a master's degree in French and English as a second language. And I've been teaching for over 10 years. I taught at UC Irvine and Le Lycée Français de Los Angeles. And after teaching French for several years, I've seen pretty much all the books out there, and I did not like any of them. I never thought for a second that anybody could master French or speak fluently or get even close to it with anything that's out there. So I decided to create my own method from scratch, and I was lucky enough to meet some people who showed me some pretty amazing platforms that allow me to constantly build and renew and update all the lessons, all the exercises that I want to create. It's absolutely wonderful. You have access to this all the time, and you can get my feedback. You can share thoughts and ideas with others. You can get all the answers right away. You have plenty of comprehension exercises. And I decided to create my own method because I did not like all the vocabulary that I saw in all the books on methods, Rosetta Stone, Fluence, all the books that they use in high school and college. They're either obsolete, they can be wrong, there are plenty of mistakes. The lessons are irrelevant. What they teach you overall, half of it is irrelevant. They leave out half of the things you need to know in order to understand and speak French and possibly understand native speakers, which is really hard. There are tricks for that to know, and none of those methods do that. So that's why I create mine from scratch. Many things that I include, pronunciation patterns used by native speakers, completely overlooked by any method or teacher. That's something very important you need to understand, and that's what I cover on every single lesson. French as you read it, as opposed to French as it is pronounced by native speakers. Also, grammar is very poorly explained in most books. I've simplified everything so that everything is very clearly understandable. Also, what most people lack when they reach a certain level to be able to be fluent is idiomatic expressions. It feels like there are a million of them, and none of them, or close to none of them, are covered. And yet another thing is plenty of structures. They can be grammatical or not grammatical. Plenty of structures are really not covered in books, and that you absolutely need to know and people use on a daily basis. So those are all the things that I think make Language City stand out from the rest. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get started. We're going to go over the alphabet today. First lesson, first things first. So here it is. Okay, the alphabet in French. This is the letter A, as in alphabet, l'alphabet. B, as in un bébé. C, as in une capuche, a hoodie. Un citron. So it can be a K sound or S sound. When it's followed by an A, a U, or O, it's a K. Otherwise, it's a C. Okay? Capuche, citron. The adjective dur, D, as in dur, D. This is E, E. D'accord? As in me, te, le, de, que. F, as in un éléphant, un éléphant. Le professeur. You'll notice that in French, people always ask, well, what's the difference between French and Spanish? One of the big differences is that in Spanish, they just read and say every letter that they see, that you see in a word. Not in French. We combine a lot of letters together, which is something we're going to see in the next set of slides. And also the last consonants, as a rule, are silent. So if you see a T here, it's silent. The R here is okay, but most of the time the last consonant is silent. Also the final E of words is silent, all right? So this is un éléphant and le professeur, okay? F sound, F. Ensuite, G, kind of confusing. We kind of switch the G and the J, okay? This G here is pronounced G in French. Un garage, un garage. H, which is mostly silent in French, as in un hamster, un hamster. Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut. D'accord? I, this is the letter I, okay? I, la pluie, the rain. And of course, this is the letter J, right? J is J in French, as in un bijou, a piece of jewelry. Un bijou, with the letter J. K, K, as in un kangourou, kangourou. This is the letter L, as in un lion, and we also have the city of Lyon in France, which is the second or third largest city in France. I think it's been overtaken by Marseille recently. The letter M as une mer, une mer. And remember that la mer, spelled slightly differently, but like this, is also the ocean, la mer. Okay, la mer. La mer, la mer as well. The mother, the ocean. Pronounced the same, spelled slightly differently. M. N as in la nuit. La nuit. N-U-I-T. La nuit. We don't say the T for night. O as in une horloge. It can be pronounced A or O. A, O. It depends. Une horloge, the H is silent for a clock. Une horloge. And une autoroute, a freeway. Or a motorway, as they would say in England. Une autoroute. D'accord? P, letter P. Une porte, a door. Une pile, a battery. Une pile. Q, as in quatre. The U is silent. Quatre. Quatre. R, as in la roue, the wheel. Le train, le train, the train. S, as in un magasin, a shop or a store. Un magasin. Un coussin. Double S will be pronounced like a solid S. Un coussin, a cushion. T, as in une tulipe, or le toit. Une tulipe, le toit. U, as in un mur, a wall. V, une voiture, V. W, W. It's interesting, you say W in English, we say double V in French, if you notice. W. Un wagon, it's pronounced just like a V. Un wagon. X, as in un fax. X, X. Y, we call it a Greek I, the Y, okay? It's Greek I, Y. La gym, la gym. Pronounced like an I, really. Z, as in un zoo. Z, un zoo. Now, as I said, you'll notice that in French we have a bunch of combinations of letters that create a new sound, okay? Quite a few of them sound very similar, and since you don't have them in English, I know that a lot of English speakers can't tell the difference, really. So we're going to go over them, and hopefully it'll make sense. It'll take some practice and getting used to. I'll give you exercises so that you can tell the difference. But here it is. All right, so as I said, many letters combined together create, with an E, a new sounds in French. You need to know them in order to be able to read and pronounce words properly. And again, I'm going to throw all of them to you right now, but it's recorded, so you can go back to them, go over them again. We'll have exercises so you can practice and hear the difference. But here it is. All these combinations of sounds right here, when you see these letters together in a word in French, it's going to be the sound un. Un. Very nasal, okay? Un. 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 La fin, the end. Okay? This one here is passage interdit, access prohibited. Passage interdit. Un timbre, a stamp. Un timbre. La main. La main. Feel free to repeat after me, okay? J'ai faim. I'm hungry. In French, we say I have hunger. J'ai faim. J'ai faim. A belt is une ceinture. Une ceinture. A seatbelt is une ceinture de sécurité. Une ceinture de sécurité. Remember when there's this accent on the E, it's pronounced E. Okay, E. And this is called, we'll get to it, accent aigu. We'll get to it in a moment. Monday is lundi. Lundi. Okay, that UN is pronounced lundi. Perfume, a flavor, even for ice creams or other things that you can eat, is also le parfum. Perfume, a flavor, le parfum. Le parfum. Now we're changing. We go from un to en. En, em, an, am are the sound en. En, as in le vent, the wind. L'argent, the money. And the adjective lent, slow. Again, le vent, l'argent, lent. Still the sound en with la tempête, the storm. La tempête. Septembre, septembre. Still the sound en with un grand enfant. You'll notice that in French we have something that we call the liaison, all right? As I said earlier, the last consonants of words are silent. And here this word would be grand. If I pronounce it alone, it's grand. And this is the word enfant. We don't say the T, we don't say the D. However, in a sentence, theoretically, when you read at least, when a last consonant is followed by a vowel, we connect the two sounds, the two words, and we blend them together by pronouncing that supposedly silent consonant. So here, the D would be pronounced like a T when you do a liaison. So it would be un grand enfant, a big child. Okay, un grand enfant. D'accord? Still the en sound, we have le jambon, ham, le jambon, and la chambre, the bedroom. Now we have the on sound by combining on or om. Both are on. Again, the third very nasal sound in French, on. Okay? Un long nom, a long name, un long nom, which is my name, by the way. Alexandre Pelletier de Chambord. This is my full last name, very, very long. When you see this little de in French and the French name, it means that they're from the French aristocracy. So I am from the French aristocracy. And you can see my name on the Arc de Triomphe because, oh, it's a long story. But my great-great-great-grandfather was friends with Napoleon at school and both loved the army and war strategies, studied them together, and they ended up, they stayed in touch. And when Napoleon went up in the ranks, he stuck with my dad and with my great-great-great-great-grandfather and sent him to lead French armies to Prussia and Spain, and he did very well, apparently. So my last name is at the Arc de Triomphe in Paris and also in Las Vegas. I went to check, and it's there. But anyway, so un long nom and une ombre. Une ombre. EU together, that's the sound E or A. It depends. Sometimes it's E, sometimes it's A. This is neuf, which means 9, or new as in brand new. Neuf. This is deux filles heureuses with the E sound. Deux filles heureuses. Two girls happy, for two happy girls. D'accord? But we pronounce that never. Never. Neuf. Never. That F is pronounced like a V when doing the liaison. Okay? Never with a V sound. Ensuite, GN is just like in Spanish. In Spanish, they have this little ñ with a tilde on top. It's the same in French, just we spell it with a GN. Ñ. So the mountain is la montagne. The wrist is le poignet. And the adjective cute is mignon. Mignon. D'accord? OI together is wa. You can put it that way. Wa. Like that, right? So the roof is le toit. The king is le roi. The voice is la voix. Le toit, le roi, la voix. And the X silent, just like the T. Okay? OIN together is the sound ouin. Ouin. Okay? So this is loin, far. Un point, a dot or a period or a point. Un coin, a corner. Un coin. Loin, un point, un coin. D'accord? OU is the sound OU. Okay, remember the letter U is U, but OU together is OU. This is the adjective doux. We don't say the X. Doux. Fou, right? And des poux, lice. Des poux. Again, we don't say the X. All these here. This is called E accent aigu. I'll write it in a second. E. E. If you see ET at the end of a word, EZ or ER, they're all E sound. This accent here is called E accent aigu. Get used to it. We'll use it all the time. Accent aigu. Accent aigu. E accent aigu, it's called. Assez fatigué et lassé de travailler. Pretty tired and weary of working. Very French. Assez fatigué et lassé de travailler. So remember, you see easy, E accent aigu, ET, E accent aigu, ER, they're all E sound with accent aigu. This is the E sound. Accent grave, accent circonflexe, E-I-E-S, E-S-T. All right, this is called accent circonflexe. Let me write it down. All right, so this is accent circonflexe. E accent circonflexe. This is E accent grave. Accent grave. D'accord? There's a little story, very interesting story about the accent circonflexe. It means it's there because those who created French spelling said that there were many words at some point in time in French when people stopped pronouncing S's. And it's very interesting because that happened a long time ago in French, centuries ago, and it is happening now in many Latin American countries in Spanish. People are dropping the S's more and more in Spanish. And so we dropped them all together a long time ago, and we said, just to remember there used to be an S, we'll write this accent on top of it. And even on the accent aigu also means there used to be an S after that. But you'll see that on all accent circonflexe. You don't only see the accent circonflexe on E's, you see that on O, on I, and you find that a lot of times in English words, like a hostel, a youth hostel, we have that accent on the hôtel in French. Island, for île in French, I accent circonflexe LE. Many words. In Spanish, you have estar, and it's être, the verb to be. So it's very interesting. I think you'll find that you run into that a lot. Forest is forêt. That's one of many. So this is la mère, the mother. La fête, the party. Le lait, the milk. Remember that for the word party, if the party is in the evening, most people will call it la soirée, even though most books will tell you it's la fête. But most people use the word soirée. Okay. Again, that's one of the things that I don't like about all the books that you'll see is that they give you really old vocabulary that's a little obsolete or that is old-fashioned that people don't use anymore. Okay, so la soirée is more the word that we use for party. Okay, unless the party is during the day, then you would say la fête. EAU or AU is the sound O, just like the letter O. Okay, O. So water is eau. De l'eau chaude is some hot water. So some water hot, we say, because the adjective goes after the noun in French. De l'eau chaude. At least most of them do. ILL is the same as in Spanish, the y, if you know Spanish. It's the same thing. Y. So une fille, even though a lot of people will say une fille, just an I, and kind of ignore the LL. Une bille, a marble. D'accord? Une bille, une fille. Fille is also the word for daughter, by the way. It's a girl or a daughter. Une fille. That's it for those sounds. Now, what else do I have for you? Yes, I'd like to go over articles because I'll be using them all the time, even for simple vocabulary, so that at least you know what we're talking about if you're really new to French. The indefinite article a, okay, in French is going to be either un or une. Keep in mind that in French, if you're not aware of that yet, every single thing, tangible or not, is going to be masculine or feminine. So we always consider it's male or female. Every single thing, thought, idea, things you can touch or not, everything is masculine or feminine. Okay? So anything masculine is going to be un, anything feminine is going to be une. Okay? Students often ask me, how do you know if it's masculine or feminine? There are a few tricks. I'll tell you what, a good educated guess would be that if the word ends with an E, it's most likely feminine, even though it's not always true. It's true about 70% of the time, but that's a good way to go, okay? Uh, Most of the time, if the word ends with an E, it's feminine. Not all the time, but 70% of the time. Also, the words that end with a T-I-O-N would be feminine, but otherwise you'll have to memorize them, okay? So you would say une fille or un garçon, a boy or girl. Une fille, un garçon. And this is masculin, féminin. Un homme. Usually, remember, un is pronounced un, un, unless it's followed by a vowel sound, which means a vowel or an H, because remember the H is silent and it's usually followed by a vowel. So then I'm going to connect the N to the next vowel with an N sound. So un homme. D'accord? Un homme. And this is une femme. This is a very irregular E. Usually a E like this is E. In the word woman or wife, it means both, woman or wife. It's going to be pronounced like an A, so it's une femme. Don't try to pronounce E like most of my students do. They somehow never learn that, and so they say femme. No, it's femme. Pretend it's an A, une femme. D'accord? Ensuite, again, we're going to do the liaison here with the word computer. Un ordinateur. Okay, with an N sound. Un ordinateur. Un ordinateur. A mouse is une souris. Whether it's the animal or the computer thing that you drag, it's une souris. Okay, we don't say the final S. Une souris. Okay, then we have un portable. Keep in mind, when we talk about liaison, right, blending the words together, the last silent consonant to the next vowel, like in the previous slide, we do make the liaison. We have to make the liaison. Sometimes, not always. A lot of times the French will skip those liaisons. They will skip the liaison about 60% of the time, I would say. And 40% of the time you have to make them. So that we would have to make it. Between subject and verb, we have to make the liaison. But not always. So un ordinateur, we have to make the liaison. We'll go over that in the next lessons. Un ordinateur is a computer, une souris is a mouse. A cell phone is un portable. Un portable. And a car is une voiture. See, un portable, it's masculine even though it ends with an E. See, I told you it's not always true that when it ends with an E, it's feminine. Not always. Une voiture. You have to know, okay, one thing again that I don't like about all these methods out there and teachers is that they'll teach you that une voiture is a car and that's it. Keep in mind that the French use a whole lot of colloquial and slang words and expressions. And that's one of the things that I do. I do insist on teaching you that, again, you don't have to use them if you don't want to use colloquial terms or slang. You don't have to, but you can keep French people from talking the way they do. And trust me, they will. At every single level of society, they will use slang and colloquial expressions. So we have quite a few little words for car. Une caisse, une tire, une bagnole. I think bagnole would be the most used among those. In the ghettos, they use the word une calèche, which is very strange. In ghettos, they like to use old words and turn them into slang. All words that were completely forgotten, like a clown, like a school clown would be so yeah, un bouffon, which in Old French was the king's jester. Now it's like a school clown, you little clown is un bouffon or idiot, un bouffon, un bouffon. So that happens. Now we have the definite articles. Definite articles, pretty much I'm talking about the article the in English. Okay, and you're going to have the choice between these four in French. And here's how you're going to decide which one to use. Le is for masculine singular nouns. La is for feminine singular nouns. Apostrophe is for all singular nouns that begin with a vowel or an H. And les is for any plural noun. So in terms of pronunciation, I know that you guys want to be able to speak French, not just get an A like most teenagers do or college students. So you do care about pronunciation. So here's the deal. We have a bunch of two-letter words, and the E in second position is going to be pronounced E, as in le. But when there's an S, it's always going to be pronounced E, as in les. Okay? So les plus a plural noun. So let's see examples. Le chien, the dog. Le prof, the teacher. Le livre, the book. Le lit, we don't say the T. Le lit, the bed. La table, the table. La cravate, the tie. La piscine, the pool. La chaussure, the shoe. Now, the word school is a feminine word, but it begins with a vowel. So we say l'école. If you want to say a school, it would be une école, right? Une école. But the school is l'école. L'ordinateur is the computer. It's a masculine word, so you would say un ordinateur. But it's l'ordinateur, the computer. You would say l'élève, the student. The student can be masculine or feminine, depending on whether we're talking about a girl or a boy. So that's l'élève, l'élève. This is l'enfant, the child. L'enfant, and we don't say the T. L'enfant. The children are les enfants. Les enfants, and I'm connecting the S sound that's usually silent to the next vowel with a Z sound. Les enfants. Les bottes, see, if it's not followed by a vowel, I don't say the S, it's just les. ES together is les. Les bottes. Les bottes. The friends are les amis, again. I'm connecting the S with the next vowel with the Z sound. Les amis. The dogs are les chiens. Les chiens. Okay, that's it for today. You've got quite a few exercises for you to practice oral comprehension of the letters of the alphabet, the words that we've learned today. Feel free to write your answers. You can ask questions, send me a message through the forums or on my email. And that's it. I'll see you maybe Thursday, otherwise another day. And you'll get the recording if you can attend the lessons. À bientôt. Bye.